The X90 Pro Plus, along with cooperation from Zeiss, have prepared a great camera setup for you. The heart of the camera unit is a large 1-inch 50-megapixel Sony IMX989 sensor. Next, we have a 48-megapixel ultra-wide-angle sensor, a 50-megapixel portrait camera, and a 64-megapixel telephoto lens. The main camera takes excellent shots in both daylight and low light. The shots I took were detailed and clear. The photos have a wide dynamic range, but there are also weaknesses in sharpness levels from time to time. I also noticed a lack of consistency in the pictures. I mean, even two shots in a row can show different colors, especially at night. Look at these two photos. I took them off one by one, and here is the third one, and again are the colors. However, I would say that night photography is the strongest side of this camera. If I prefer the latest Samsung flagship for daytime photos, then at night my sympathies are closer to Vivo. Pictures are more detailed with a wider range. There is only one drawback. Unlike the night photos, I didn't really like the night video. Quite a weak dynamic range and detail. Stabilization fails, the picture floats and twitches, and it's not very nice. It's hard to call this a flagship level, which is surprising because the photos from the same camera are great. The portrait shots were equally good. The edge detection was on point and the subject was well separated from the background. Background blur was soft and didn't look cheap. Ultra-wide shots were clear and detailed, similar to the main sensor. The dynamic range was also good. The X90 Pro Plus features a pair of zoom lenses, a 50-megapixel 2x telephoto camera using Sony's IMX758 sensor, and a 64-megapixel periscope zoom lens with a 3.5x optical zoom. This one uses a lesser-known OmniVision sensor. The two zoom lenses equate to about 50 and 90 mm focal length, and they're meant for snapping portraits. The former for typical chest-up portraits, the latter for entire upper body shots. The focal length and sensor size result in some natural depth of field, even without resorting to software-generating digital bokeh. However, turning the periscope zoom lens into a 3.5x portrait lens means the X90 Pro Plus has taken a step back in long zoom photography compared to previous Vivo devices with a 5x periscope lens. But the 3.5x lens has enough pixels to compensate, and for the most part, the X90 Pro Plus 10x zoom performs very well, although it loses to Samsung's dedicated 10x optical lens. If you examine these samples, Samsung's 10x zoom is just a touch sharper and better detailed than Vivo's. But the funny thing is that in low light, Vivo's 10x zoom shows better results. This is because the Samsung camera uses a 3x sensor when there is not enough light, even at 10x zoom. Coming over to the front, the 32-megapixel selfie camera took amazing selfies. The selfies I took were rich in detail and pretty sharp. The skin tones looked close to natural and the dynamic range was good.